My name is Dotun Otegbayo. I'm a professor of medicine at the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, and a consultant physician and gastroenterologist at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, Nigeria. I'm also currently the Chief Medical Director at University College Hospital, Ibadan, Nigeria. I've been asked by Rambaxi Nigeria Limited to share my experience and a few other things concerning the COVID-19 infection in Nigeria. Well, yes, precisely on the 29th of March, year 2020, I tested positive for COVID-19 infection. I haven't had a direct contact with someone who tested positive after a brief illness. And three of us, as members of the board of UCH, tested positive, and I was one of them. Immediately this report came, I had to go on self-isolation. Fortunately for me, I was completely asymptomatic during the period of self-isolation. I stayed 8 days without getting in touch with anybody, and of course I stayed another few days after that to get a second negative report. So today, my experience was just that of the emotional disturbance in isolation. Otherwise, I was completely healthy. During the period, I occupied myself with reading, watching some movies, which I usually don't used to do. And of course, I took some medications that I believe can boost one's immunity, like things that contain selenium, vitamin C in high doses, and other fruits and juices that contain high levels of vitamin C. The coronavirus has existed from time immemorial, but COVID-19, which is also called SARS-CoV-2, is a new virus. Coronavirus is usually cause mild respiratory infection. There are 7 strains that cause disease in man. 3 of them cause severe respiratory syndromes, while the others just cause minor upper respiratory tract infection. What is unique about the COVID-19 infection is that it spreads faster than others because, one, it binds strongly to the receptor, specifically the angiotensin-converting enzyme 2 in pneumocytes, in gastrointestinal tract, and in the heart. That is the area where the receptors are in high concentration. And after binding, it generates inflammatory responses leading to release of interleukins like interleukin 2, interleukin 6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha. All this lead to destruction of tissues by attracting macrophages that release cytokines, and there's a state of hypercytokinemia. The second reason why COVID-19 virus is also different from the other coronavirus is that when an individual is infected, the virus is highly concentrated in the nasal secretions and the throat secretions, and the virus is spread even before symptoms appear. For other coronaviruses that cause severe infections like SARS, the severe acute respiratory syndrome and the Middle East respiratory syndrome, is that for the other 2 I mentioned later, there has never been any reported case of transmission of infection during asymptomatic stage. But for COVID-19, the viral load is usually high and it peaks even when the individual who is afflicted has no symptoms, and making it readily possible to spread the virus while the individual is not known to have any disease at all. So that's what makes the difference between the 2 sets, that is the COVID and the other SARS viruses that cause severe infection in man. Up to about 25% of patients with COVID-19 infection who develop symptoms will have gastrointestinal symptoms, and they can present with gastrointestinal bleeding, They can present with anorexia, and nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. And one important thing is that this virus is also shed in the stool. In fact, one other unique thing about COVID-19 is that even after the nasal and throat secretions have tested negative for the virus, for up to 5 days, the virus is still being shed in stools. And this is also one other major difference between COVID-19 and the other SARS and Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus. The advice I have for colleagues, that is the caregivers, is to make sure that they protect themselves by observing all the measures, all the preventive measures that can lead to the spread of the disease. Hand washing, use of hand sanitizer, use of face mask, and personal protective equipment when taking care of patients with this, because the disease can readily spread. And of course, if they have had a contact with any patient or an index case, they should immediately proceed on self-isolation, get tested, and follow all the required therapy that are available for anybody that has tested positive. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has guidelines concerning the management and care of individuals who have contracted the virus, and I want to advise my colleagues to ensure that they read these guidelines and follow the evolution of events, because not everything is known about the biology of this virus for now. What we can do as individuals and as a community is to observe those preventive measures that I've mentioned. But as a community, there's a need to avoid social gathering as much as possible. Even though some numbers have been peddled, like some say 50, some say 10, but for me, it takes only one person to spread this virus. So even the gathering of 2 people without appropriate physical distancing can lead to the spread of the disease. So it is advised that in relating with people, we should give a distance of about 2 meters from any individual that we are speaking with, and all the measures that were earlier on listed, like use of face mask, use of hand sanitizer, hand washing, and use of PPE. And what the community is doing now, which is commendable, like it's been done in Lagos State, Ogun State, and the Federal Capital Territory, which is complete and total lockdown of the whole city or state. This, like it's usually said, that the virus doesn't move, it is humans who move it. And knowing the way the virus spreads, because coronaviruses are usually, they usually live, or they have the reservoir in animals, especially bats. Disease only occurs in man when there's a transmission, when there's a zoonotic transmission from animal to man. Then it now becomes man to man, and man to a cluster, and man to the community. And this is how the virus spreads. So we should try as much as possible to prevent anything that will make us contact the infection, and put all these measures in place to prevent spread.